Enhance your experience by becoming a supporting member. Gain access to unseen videos and video requests. 3-day free trial by visiting zionmembership.com. Chosen ones, empaths, you don't realize how severe these narcissistic injuries are that were inflicted on the narcissist involved in your life. Honestly, some of the most normal things that you've done, the bizarre things, just bizarre things. What I mean by bizarre things is just you being you cause them narcissistic injuries. But before I get into that and break that down a little more, I'd like to bring to your attention about the upcoming empath group meeting at the end of the month on the 30th. It's going to give you a chance to meet fellow like-minded empaths, perhaps exchange business cards, also talk a bit about your story, perhaps exchange social media. And it would be nice for you to actually speak to people that are on the same page, because I've seen and witnessed it. So like you communicate so effectively in the comment section. It's just bringing that into a video call, so it will be online, but there is an empath group meeting coming up at the end of the month on the 30th. Sorry. Also, I'm back running one-to-one sessions. So if you're interested in a one-to-one session for a more personal touch on the problem that you're dealing with or issue, and you'd like some light shed on that issue, you can always book a one-to-one session. All the links for what I'm discussing will be in the description box. And finally, if, I understand, being an introvert, sometimes you don't feel to get onto a video call and have a one-to-one session or something like that, or a group empath meeting, you can always reach out to me by email, because I'm now running email crisis support. So any of those things, if you're interested, the links are also in the description box. So thank you. But look, let's just take it as it is, There's things throughout the entire course of this relationship you're in with a narcissist beyond your comprehension that inflicted severe narcissistic injuries. Some of the most strangest and bizarre things that you would take as just you being you, just you doing you, Could have been the way you said something to them on a given day. Just the way you said something. Or just the way they wasn't able to control you like the way they wanted to control you. This could have inflicted injuries onto them, They're really messed up in the head, Honestly. Just you being an empath, right? And them having a struggle to control you. You might think they controlled you. You might have felt like they were dangling you like a puppet on the string, pulling all the strings and stuff. But there were still things where you showed resilience, and these things would have inflicted injuries onto them, They, let's just bring up an example. You could have known the narcissist, for example. You could have been in a relationship with a narcissist involved in your life, and you got a new car, right? You got a new car. You hadn't had a new car in a long time, but you decided to get a new car. And you know what the thing is? It might not have even been a brand new car. It was a new car to you, right? And the narcissist would have got injuries inflicted upon them because you've done something for yourself, right? You could have gone out, let's not say a new car, you could have gone out and bought some new clothes, and you looked good in those clothes. You looked nice, you looked well, whether you're a lady or a gentleman. You put on these new clothes and you looked well, and you're walking along the narcissist side by the narcissist, and you think they'll be happy for you, or you in your new outfit. You think they'll be like admiring your beauty, or admiring your new dress, or your new clothes, or whatever, right? No, they'll have injuries inflicted upon them. They'll be resentful, they'll be bitter, they'll be twisted. This is what occurs in them, right? And the thing that you've got to understand about these injuries you inflicted, just like I mentioned, you getting a new car, you getting some new clothes, the way you said something on a given day, These injuries stockpiled up, they don't let go of them. It's not like they go over, some of the abuse you went through went over your head. You see, you actually let a lot of what the abuse happened with the narcissist probably go over your head, because you were kind of indoctrinated to the love bomb and stuff like that, and the trauma bond, right? And maybe some of the abuse just went over your head. These things don't go over the narcissist's head, right? They hit them like a tall standing object in the wind. You know, like they'll feel that force. You know, they'll feel that force. So just you being you, you know, you could have been at a restaurant, right? You could have been at a restaurant. I've heard this from other people many times before. You could have been at a restaurant or something like that. And, you know, like you do, your eyes wander around the restaurant. You check your surroundings. You check where you are. And you might have, like, gazed across and seen someone of the opposite sex, right, on another table. Or perhaps a waiter or a waitress, right? You could have glanced across, and this narcissistic partner would have been studying your eye movements. They're watching you like a snake, and they may have brought it to your attention. They might be like, "Why are you looking at that person?" Or they might have just kept quiet and let the injury get inflicted on them. And they would have looked at the other person. Then they would have started comparing themselves to the other person, feeling less than. All these things. And you were just innocently glancing around the room, right? This is how stupid some of these injuries that are inflicted on them are. But when you get into, like, for example, you exposing them, and some of you you've exposed the narcissist, or you've called the narcissist out on their BS. You've stood up to them. You've exposed them. You know, this is like real soul-wrenching hurt for the narcissist involved in your life. You know, for those of you that have exposed them, for those of you that have stood up to them, you know, they're not going to get over none of these injuries easily. From the glance around the room, from the new car to the new outfit, they're not going to get over these injuries easily. And this is the problem with them, right? When they start to look at you, they don't see you as you being you. They see you as the one that offended them from the time you bought that new outfit and made them feel less than. They look at you for the time when you bought that new car and you offended them. They look at you and think of that time you glanced around the room in the restaurant and caught eyes with someone and they got offended by that, and they this is how they view you. They look at you and remember that you stood up to them and was unmovable and unshakable and you wasn't being manipulated like the way they wanted you to be manipulated. And they hate that. And they look at you in that way. They remember that time when you exposed them to some degree. And you might have exposed them unconsciously. You might have just been in a room full of people and you just said something like you just said something and you exposed them slightly, right? This is how they'll view you. This is why a lot of people don't understand why, you know, it comes out of nowhere. You know, you think to yourself at the time when you're going through the motions of the discard or reverse discard or whatever, you're going through the motions of it, and you think to yourself, how did this person become like that? That's a total, like, their mask has come off. You know, they're not able to contain it. There's a lot of things that you've done along the way that actually helped usher them along for that unveiling of the mask. It's not your fault. Please don't blame yourself. Like I said, these are bizarre things. Strange things that would just go over someone's head, things that would just be gentle and people wouldn't be fazed by it, but they're fazed by it. You know, they're pissed off by it, they're resentful about it. This is how they are, right? So you've got to know, you know, I don't think some of you realize how severe the narcissistic injuries you inflicted on the narcissist. And I obviously can't pinpoint the exact ones, you know, but you'll be able to do that. You'll be able to look back in retrospect, right? And think, hang about that time you went out with your friend, or that time you left your narcissistic friend, right? And you started being with your partner, and the narcissistic friend started getting jealous and resentful, or vice versa. The time when you was with your narcissistic partner and you went to hang out with your friends, right? Like people do in this world. They were at home, bitter, twisted, resentful, angry, frustrated, annoyed, injuries inflicted, hurting them. And they never let go. They never let go of them. They don't even let go of them after the relationship's all been said and done. That's why, for all of you that think, oh, they've got a new clean slate, they've gone on with their lives and they've met a new supply and it's a new lease of life for them and they're on a new clean slate, they haven't forgotten all of the narcissistic injuries that are inflicted on them. This new supply is going to be they're going to feel the wrath of this narcissist for all of the injuries that you inflicted, right? They become harder to deal with through time, They become harder to deal with through time. They even say in non-narcissistic relationships, right? In non-narcissistic relationships, the more partners that you've had, right? The more sexual partners that you've had, it makes it a slimmer and slimmer chance for a successful marriage, for example. This is give and take on that, right? It's give and take on that because it's just statistics, right? It's just statistics. They're just looking at it. They're just getting a mean average, right? But what that shows is, so when you take into an account, if that's general people, right? General people that have relationships and have plenty of relationships, whereas someone that had two or three or was with their partner from their first lover or whatever, and they have more successful ones, you've got to take into account, imagine a narcissist involved in your life that's been with you, an empath, that's had someone like you, and then they're trying to play happily ever after with another narcissist or some other toxic weirdo, right? They're trying to play happy ever after and make you jealous. It's never going to happen, right? That's why you go through them trying to glorify the new supply and punish you and hurt you and make you upset. The devaluation, all of that. Because they felt devalued. They felt like nothing. These narcissistic injuries made them feel like nothing. Made them feel worthless. Right? That's what happened. Okay? That's what happened to them. So, you honestly don't need to worry about a thing. You honestly don't need to worry about a thing. Honestly, there's so many injuries you inflicted on this narcissist involved in your life. And it's actually quite cleansing when you think about times, like, you go into work, you trying to pay the bills and go to work and look after the family. They could have got narcissistic injuries off that. Oh, he or she goes to work. I'm at home. Oh no. And this is the logic of them. They don't look at it like, oh, my partner's going to work. They're trying they're struggling. They're trying to support me. They're working hard. I'm gonna make them a nice meal for when they get home. They don't think like that. They don't think like that. They're selfish. They'll think, oh, you're out having fun at work. Like, that's the type of logics that will go in their mind. You're out at work having fun. And they'll pester you when you're at work, What I mean by pester, obviously couples and stuff talk when they're at work to each other. They might text, they might communicate, they might go on the phone at break times, etc., right? But what I mean is they'll start drama and arguments with you when you're trying to focus on your work or your course or your studies. Or, you could be at college or university and you're trying to focus in a lecture or a lesson or whatever, and they'll start drama and chaos with you. It could be anything. They've got nothing going for them. You've got stuff going for you. You always had stuff going for you, and they try and take that from you and make your whole world focused on them. So you've got to realize you had a lot of things going for you before you even met this narcissist involved in your life, and you've just got to get back to that. Really, that's ultimately what you got to do. So, like I said, the empath group meeting is coming up at the end of the month. I'd love for you to be there. It's the first one that I'm running. It'll be the first one we're doing together. It'll be great if you could be a part of it. The booking details are in the description box. Like I said, I'm back running to one-to-one sessions, so the link for that is also in the description box if you want a more personal touch. Finally, if you would like to have support, but just through email. So there's a crisis email support that you can reach out and book. The link is in the description box. If you'd like to donate to the channel or contribute to the channel, the links for that are also in the description box. Thank you in advance for anyone that does that. I really appreciate it. And if you'd like to know more about the narcissist lost their precious jewel and they are losing their minds, the narcissist lost their precious jewel, you, and they are losing their minds, click this video here. So anyway, I'll be back with another video soon. Peace.